the song Distance. We started to work in the song back in 2019. We were already starting to work in new songs, even before the release of the first album, Human Nature. We were composing and writing new material, and I came with this song, most of it ready to the band, and we started to rehearse this song, but it didn't have lyrics yet, and I started to sing some mumbling, not exactly lyrics, as I usually do. I usually have the structure of the song ready, and I have the melody. I write the melody of the vocals first, and then I write the lyrics to fit that melody. But when we were rehearsing the song, this came already to my head, this we are so far away, and I really wanted that in the song. And when we were talking about the song, we were talking about what should we call this song. And back in 2019 we already said like, yeah, maybe Distance, because we are saying like we are so far away, we can use the thematic of distance. Maybe we can change the name in the future, maybe not, we see, but let's call it Distance. A few months later, the pandemic started, and 6 months after that we kind of didn't have a studio anymore. Everything was in lockdown, everything was closed, we couldn't do anything, we couldn't meet, we lived far away from each other. I saw all my dreams crumbling down, I saw all my goals crumbling down, I saw that I was like, everything got more distant, let's say. But the meaning of the song, because the lyrics of the song were not ready yet. We had just worked in its structure, and then we couldn't work anymore because of the pandemic. So we were like more than a year without playing together. And when we got a new studio that we could meet and everything, when the pandemic was kind of over, then we started to work in the song again. But then the meaning of the word distance, the meaning of the song got much more, it changed.
The song evolved with the thoughts. The more we started to write, the more the ideas came to mind that it could be something else, something bigger.
What we want to say with the song changed completely after the pandemic.
So eventually the song is partly about losing someone in one way or another. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have lost someone, like someone has passed away, but because of arguing or something, separation in some way. But for me, I was thinking of my mother right away.
Distance to me means a feeling of emptiness, unexplainable almost. Sometimes almost like you can sense something has happened or is about to happen, but you don't know what it is. Unexplainable. I attribute this a lot to a friend of mine who almost 7 years ago he lost his life to cancer and left behind his family. He had 7 kids and all that. It was almost like I could sense that happening, because I knew he was sick and I knew he was in the hospital, but he never said, he was never entirely open, of course, because how could you explain that about his recovery? Like, was he getting better, or was he just prolonging the time it would take for him to finally go away?
Some of the words that was written, it's really from my feelings. The separation, the distance that I have right now with her. So it's very nice to have the opportunity to put your feelings into a song, and I hope that people can relate to this feeling.
So the song Distance for me is, for example, how far is it to achieve any goals in life? if I want to achieve anything or something, how far is it? I don't know how far is it.
The song Distance, I attribute a lot to this feeling of being trapped, this feeling of having so much time for yourself, yet nothing to do with that time. It was almost like these last 2 years sucked all the energy out of me. Like there were so many things I wanted to do, and I obviously could not do all of it, but there were things that I could do, but I felt like, what was even the purpose? What's it gonna lead to? Almost as if everything was just blank. You know, there was no color, no shade, everything was just gray, and everything felt almost completely pointless.
So we had already the thematic of distance with the song, but it changed a lot after the pandemic. Got a whole new meaning for us.
Missing my friend, and friends who have passed away, friends that I never see anymore, people I may have hurt, people I may have not been the nicest person to, yet something is just holding me back from reaching out and saying I'm sorry, or just open up what it is, what I need to say.
It's not just the distance of physical distance. It's about all the distance that we have run so far. The distance, everything got much more distant. Also, our dreams got much more distant. Our goals got much more distant. The life that we desire got much more distant, and all the distance of the public, the distance of our fans. We got much more far away from everyone and everything.
When everything became very locked down, and literally every day was just work, go home, sleep, work, go home, sleep, work, go home, sleep. And we rehearsed as much as we could. We saw each other as often as we could, given the circumstances, but there was is there nothing else? That's another thing the word distance means to me, is the search for something more. The feeling, being unsatisfied creatively and personally. The search for something more without knowing exactly what more is. Is it my passion for music? Is it people? Is it relationships? Not knowing what this more is that I'm looking for.
That's the meaning for me in our new song, Distance.
It's a very powerful song, and it means very much to us.
It's much more than about physical distance. This is a new look into life, in a new point of view, in a new perspective of how life works.
How many bumps on the road will I hit before I reach the final destination? That's the meaning for me in our new song, Distance.
That was what distance is about.
And what does distance mean to you?
Thank you.